All right, here we go. We are ready for the main event. Drivers lining up now, 80 laps, 200 miles ahead of these drivers to open the Great Lakes truck season.
Whether that's the U.S., Canada, or even that one pretty crappy one from the U.K. Remember, when we come to pit road, the rule that we changed, remember to
So as we get ready for the field to grid up here, I want to kick it over to Jeff Johnson for a little bit. Jeff, you've been a long-time member of this league. You know a lot about it, probably more than any of us do. Tell us just the significance of this race.
Under a caution, or if you get a black flag under a caution.
Well, yeah, that's right, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
Yell out to an admin, make sure we know, we'll clear it, and then you're just going to get an EOL and go to the back of the field, because I know there's some penalties that make you get out of lap.
Generally speaking, Daytona
NASCAR
is
doesn't
our
often
biggest
follow
race
the
of
same rules we have on iRacing, so we'll just put you to the back if you get a penalty under
we've had
yellow.
good luck,
Under
we've
green,
had
there's
bad
not
luck
much
here,
we
just
can
kind of
do.
like our real world Patriots and
then again,
NASCAR and the Cup Series and the
the
Series, and especially
restart
the Truck
zone is in
Series.
effect. Leader
I
does
think
not
those
have
heat
lane
races
change
were
for
really
the
good
initial start.
of the different
But
type
any
of racing
restart that
we
would
can
come
get,
tonight, the leader will get lane
tonight.
choice.
I think you saw in Heat 1, everything was pretty tame. I think we saw that one accident.
Anybody have any
late
questions
in
before we
Heat
get
1.
going?
That was pretty indicative.
Are we ready to
just
get
some good hard
racing tonight?
I think that wreck in Heat 2 was a little bit more of an aggressive wreck, especially early in that heat. All these guys really, I think, vying for track position. This is the biggest change to the truck model that we've had.
Jeff, do you need an extra lap?
Really, as long as the Great Lakes racing has been established in the summer of 2020. So I think tonight's race is definitely going to be something different, but it's also definitely going to mimic a lot of what we've seen in the past here in the Great Lakes Truck Series.
Yeah, I agree. From what I saw in those heat races, it doesn't really seem like the plate racing in this trucks has changed all that much from previous builds, but there's definitely something to be said for subtle differences that people that race this truck more are definitely going to be more tuned into. We don't need to go over the starting lineup. We already did by going over the duels, but it's worth noting that Jared Duda and Jim Duda have locked out the front row. They did that earlier in single car qualifying, hence why they were not in the duels.
Well, I'm not here to make that.
It is time to kick off another season of Great Lakes Racing Truck Series action. Well, actually, I don't know if we're going green this time because there's a bit of a stack up in the back and trucks on the apron. Jeff, if you can give us a little insight into that.
Well, it actually looks like these guys are saving fuel early. They're going to add an extra pace lap here for broadcast purposes while we get some things set up. I know you guys might not be totally aware of it, but we had a little bit of technical issues that we were sorting through, but those should be sorted out now. Just kind of keeping an eye on the various chats around the land. If anybody else is seeing any technical issues, just drop it in chat, drop me a DM on Discord. But guys, we're going to get the one to go at the line here, and we're going to set up for a 80-lap, 200-mile race here at Daytona. And just given what we saw in the heats, given what we saw last night in our preseason Thunder event that had about 30 trucks, if these guys can kind of keep their heads on, I think we're in for a fun race, and I think we're in for a race that, if it goes green, is going to involve a lot of strategy, something that we are no stranger to in the last few seasons here in the Great Lakes Truck Series.
For sure. I think especially, I mean, you mentioned it, fuel is going to be very important tonight and making sure you can make it to the end of the race. I heard in the pre-race talks we were having that fuel can go about 25 laps, so if that's true, that puts these drivers in a bit of an awkward spot because theoretically you could go to 25 and then 50 and then 75. Puts you in an awkward spot for an 80-lap race. So stretching just a lap or two extra of fuel, which is definitely possible with all the draft we have here, could mean a lot when it gets down to the end of the race, assuming that we don't have any cautions.
Yeah, if you got an issue, drop down. I'll give you an AOL.
All right, the field entering turn number 3 now. Lights are out on the pace truck, so we are, in fact, going this time by. Nathan Jump was just given an EOL penalty, so he will be moving to the back. I wonder if that's something to do for his actions in the heat race. That'll definitely hurt his chances of the defending champion behind the 8 ball early. Jared Duda, Jim Duda, your front row as we get ready to kick off another season of Truck Series action. A win tonight could be important to the overall championship, so these drivers, they might need to be on it from race number 1.
Just a quick note as we come to the green flag, Nathan Jump requesting EOL for those connection issues. So he's going to start in the back. Hopefully that sorts out for him. The pace truck is going to make that hard left turn here in just a second, Jonathan.
Pace truck is in. Here we go to kick off another season of Great Lakes racing action. To the Geico restart zone. We're green from Daytona.
Don't tell him how to run his life. You get it figured out, Tom?
Yes, sir. I forgot this wasn't Steve Pitt.
Lap 1 complete. Jared Duda leads the opening lap of the season with Michael Senzi alongside 2x2 throughout most of the field, with a couple of trucks shuffling around way towards the back, but up front it is all double file with Duda and Senzi leading your respective lines as they come out of turn number 2.
Yeah, just like that first heat race, it's kind of, we got somebody jumping out. That's normal. A lot of people will all of a sudden decide, you know what, I don't want to play with this. I'm going to the back. It's a good spot to do it. But just like that first heat race, the double file continues on from the pace laps.
You gotta watch out because you might put yourself in a bad spot to rejoin. I don't think we caught that on the broadcast. The 26 truck nearly merged into the field in the middle of 3 and 4. Crisis averted. We're good. Everyone keeps it going. And luckily, I think the 26 is going to pick up the draft. Lap 2 now complete. It'll be Jim Duda out in front in the number 16 truck with Michael Senzi leading the inside line. Other than a near disaster in 3 and 4, all is good so far.
Yeah,
How was it?
Through these first few laps, these guys look to be taking it a little easy. I think you saw Ashton Lawson. He led his lap and he wanted to get the heck out of Dodge there. One thing to note, we do have what I think most people consider we've got 42 trucks here on track, and I think Ashton looked like he just didn't give himself enough time to get passed by the majority of the field. He kind of put himself in that position now, so we see a couple more guys kind of bailing out on the high side, seeing a little bit of the action we've got going on up front here.
Jared Darling now gets to the front using the momentum of the outside line, but just like drivers before him, he's going to jump to the bottom, which, to be honest, I don't think I completely understand. It seems like that outside line is moving pretty good. Jim Duda now going to use it to try and get the lead out of turn number 2, and with that push coming from behind, I think he's got it. That's Matt Daniels in the 45 pushing him out front.
Yeah, Jonathan, if the heat races, if the preseason Thunder event was any indication from last night, the bottom line and the top line, it is strictly dependent on the amount of support you have. You see the top line getting broken up a lot right there, and that just gives the bottom line the edge. This new drafting model, this new aero model that Iris has implemented between seasons has kind of changed the game. These guys have not had to race like this at a super speedway in this league before, so these guys are all experiencing something they've never really experienced before in the truck, and you can kind of see it as that high line, even with, you see get a little bit of a run now as they kind of get stacked up down the back straightaway. But all it takes is one person to kind of get a little too far out of the throttle, and it can absolutely murder the line you're in, guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing about super speedway racing is that it's so dependent on others. It's one of the things that a lot of drivers like, and one of the things that a lot of drivers detest. But what's really important is that because everyone is in such a tight pack, one wrong move can really ruin an entire line's momentum. Now, admittedly, it's a little harder to do with the drafting model that doesn't incorporate so much air bubbles and side drafting like what we have on the truck here. And if you've been on iRacing and you've done your fair share of super speedway racing, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But it's still definitely possible. One wrong push, one wrong bump, one 3-wide move in the middle of the pack. That's close. That got a little bit sketchy there out of turn number 2. The 49 of Shane Nicewanger kind of got stuck up in the middle there. But that's what I mean. One move like that, and suddenly the outside line is dropping way back.
Yeah, it looked looked like, oh, a little bit of contact there between the 8, the 4.
We gotta pick a lane here, guys.
It looked like Matt Daniels just got a little high, and Shane Neiswanger was having none of it and ducked to his inside. Something we hear these guys talk about a lot, and we kind of see a lot here at the super speedways, is guys that aren't normally up front and maybe don't have the confidence that some of these other guys running up front. That is always a little bit of a cause for trepidation for some drivers. Looking at the top 10 right now, we do have some of the traditionally strongest members of the league and some newcomers to the league. So there's really a lot of unknowns in the top 10 right now at the front of the field.
That's the thing about super speedway racing. You can really end up around people that you've never seen on track before, as once again that outside line gets stacked up big time. It looks like Sam Hoff tried to throw a questionable block, and that stacked up the outside line again, and it'll lead to a 5-car breakaway on the inside line. Hoff going to gather it back up and try to move back to the front with Jim Duda pushing. But to your point, one of the interesting things about super speedway racing is that because it's so not really, I don't want to say not driver skill specific, but such a different skill set, that you can end up with a lot of situations where drivers that you never see before, you're racing around at the front of the field. Or if maybe on the other hand, if you're good at other types of tracks, but you're not as strong on super speedways, you could find yourself really out of water in the back of the pack around people that you don't really trust that much. So it's definitely an interesting dynamic to see play out, as that outside line looks like it's back stronger than ever, as Jared Darling and Sam Hoff are going to get to the front of the field.
Yeah, Sam Hoff goes from murdering the outside line. Jared Darling hops up. He's actually going to jump in front of the inside line and take the lead off the push from Sam Hoff.
You let me know when to back off.
Seeing a lot of blocking out of that one truck. He doesn't look too committed to any line in particular, and that can be good towards the end of the race. Oh, contact! The 92 Senzi's on the apron. He's gonna get it gathered back up and keep it out of harm's way. Great save by Michael Senzi, but that is gonna hurt the inside line big time. Sam Hoff now leads a 3, almost 4 truck breakaway on the outside. That could have been a lot worse than it was, as here comes the 53 of Jared Duda to the bottom. That outside line broke up just as fast as it got together.
Yeah, good avoidance by everyone there. Good to save too. As this run progresses, we're starting to get to the point, Ross, where I think we're going to have to start talking a little fuel strategy in this race. Preseason Thunder is an indication. These guys really have a wide range of options they can take when it comes to saving fuel.
Yeah, and I think the other part of that too is tires. Tires don't really matter. So, you know, in these situations, if you can save a little bit of fuel, these guys that are riding in the back, the single file lanes we see back there, if they can save a little bit, they maybe can get off a pit road a little bit faster if they still come in with the group that's leading this. Otherwise, man, they are racing up front. They're not saving fuel up there though.
Yeah, Ross, to your point, I have not noticed a lot of fuel saving amongst this top group really at all. I think everyone is racing really hard to get to the front, and honestly, it surprises me. I was expecting for these first bit of the race for people to kind of stay in line and work together more, but really, I'm seeing a lot of movement in the pack. People are really in a hurry to get to the front.
Yeah, we have four different drivers that I see that double-digit moved up through the pack, started deep in the field, and they're up in the top 7. 4 different drivers have made big moves moving through the field.
Another thing to note is just how slow these trucks run when they are by themselves. You see Elliot Anderson get hung out on the high side there, and he goes all the way to the back of that lead pack, and the momentum swings that we're seeing in these trucks are kind of second to none that we've seen before. And I think that's a lot of the reasons why you kind of see some of these guys up front having big moments where a truck on the inside tries to get in front of the outside line, and it just causes a major stack up because it's not a sustainable hit for the person that's leading that outside line. Just absolutely clobber someone going 15-20 miles an hour faster than they are.
We do have a lapped truck coming up out of turn number 2, the 41 of Nathan Jump off the pace. Following those connection issues, he's going to stay on the bottom. I think the field shouldn't have too hard of a time getting around him. Oh, big blind! And there we go! Trouble! Oh, the 55's up and over! So is the 3 truck. That is big. 2 blowovers and 1 wreck. The big one strikes early at Daytona. Lap 12. And it's gone very badly for a number of drivers very early on in this race. Unfortunate. Yikes. That is not what you want to see. Torn up trucks littered over the back straightaway at Daytona. Cautions out for the first time tonight. Sam Hoff, the leader at the time of yellow. Oh boy.
Yeah, we might have to go back and look, but I think that lap car, when the lap car gets up there, everybody gets a little nervous, and it's really easy to misjudge a lane or move around a little bit and something happens.
Yeah,
we'll see it on the replay here, but I saw a lot of movement. I think a lot of guys are trying to take advantage of that lapped car, kind of shuffling the order up a bit, and a couple of bad blocks, a couple of bad runs, and it just led to chaos down the back straightaway.
Yeah, as
we'll get it queued up for you here in a moment.
As we get that replay dialed up, I'm left to wonder if any of these guys are going to have a little bit of frustration with the 41 and Nathan jump. A lot of that looked like it might have just been because of the positioning of that 41 truck. As we get a first look at it here, if I could get iRacing to cooperate with me, there we go. We'll get a first look at it, and oh boy, this is a big one for lap 13, guys.
You'll see it down the back straightaway here. The 55 of Greg Mitchell gets a big run, goes to the inside, gets blocked, and then gets turned. He gets set in front of the field. It all kicks off from there.
For as gnarly as that wreck looked, there really did not appear to be that many trucks involved. We'll get another look at it here in a second.
Yeah, it was really between the 15 and I want to say that was the 3 pushing him behind. Yeah, Adolfo Delgado just catches Greg Mitchell at a bad moment, turns him around. Then Adolfo gets turned around himself, blows over along with the 55. A couple of trucks just got littered down the back. To your point, you're right, it didn't look like too many trucks got outright taken out in that wreck. Just a lot of drivers having to make evasive moves.
Sorry about that, if I forget anybody.
No, my freaking spotter goes like, oh.
Meanwhile, we do have pit stops going on, and it looks like everybody's coming down. This is probably the best strategy to do that and get your 4 tires in field now, so you don't have to worry about it later. As we get another look at this huge wreck going into 3. A lot of off track, but I think a lot of it was probably the right call. A little bit 1x in the grass is better than a 4x on the track, right?
Yeah, I agree. At this point, though, pitting at this point, I think puts you in a good spot for the rest of the race, whereas before you would have had to make that final stop around lap 75. There's a little more room to play with now if we go by 25 lap increments, and you'd like to do the math with me. 25 laps from now, you'll have to pit around lap 30. Nope, I already did it wrong. You'll have to pit around lap 40, and then again around lap 65, which sets you up for a nice 15-lap run to the end of the race. So at this point, I don't think saving fuel will be too much of a concern.
Yeah, I think these guys, in a world where that is the only caution we have, I don't think these guys would have to worry about saving too much fuel out of necessity. But like Ross was mentioning earlier, art kind of imitates reality, and I think something we've seen a lot in the Cup Series here recently is something that is kind of translated down to our Truck Series here, is this idea that the less fuel you need to take, the shorter amount of time on pit road, the more positions you can gain. We see some guys try to fake it out. We'll probably see, we see some portions of the field coming to pit road here to top off. It looks like we're going to get 2 to go at the line, so a bunch of these guys going to top off again and just kind of set themselves up for that strategy to take the least amount of fuel whenever they can.
Yeah, well, to your point, if you give yourself more fuel to play with now, I mean, if it comes down to it, 1 lap can make the difference. I do believe we got the 1 degree in this time by, and good news, I've fixed my trading paints, so I actually know who's in what truck now. It only took 15 laps,
lucky dog in
but thankfully, I have it figured out. Great! All right, so looks to me like starting around, just so I can get an official count on this, I want to say starting around Dylan Poteet, maybe? That's when people started coming down pit road. A little behind that. Nathan Nixon. Starting around Nathan Nixon, drivers started coming down pit road. So once we get the ticker back up on screen, everyone from, looks like 20th on down will have topped off. Everyone else going to be on 1 lap less of fuel, although that's not exact because it was a caution lap. You burn less under caution, etc. But keep an eye out for that later on in the race. There is a chance that could make a difference, although not entirely sure. Jim Duda and Jared Duda, a rerun really at the start of the race, are going to lead us to green. Into turn number 3 goes the pace truck. We are on lap 15 of 80, so we'll have about 65 laps to go when we take the green. Really, we're not that far into the race, so there's still a lot of time for things left to happen. And I do wonder if maybe after the wreck that ensued that first run, if maybe everyone's going to take a little bit of a calmer approach and not race quite as hard.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Looking at the running order, no drivers are out of the race yet. Actually, you know what, I stand corrected. It looks like Tony Manji was not able to start the event. Otherwise, 41 trucks on track right now, so everybody that was involved in that wreck still on track, guys.
Pace truck is in. Jared Duda going to lead us to green into the restart zone. Green flag is back out. There he goes. We are back underway at Daytona. 65 laps remaining.
Don't worry about lane change.
Truck gets sent out of line behind. I believe that was Evan Snyder on the outside line. He got a little bit loose behind the one of Jared Darling, but he gathered it back up. Everything ended up A-okay. Down the back straightaway for the first time after the restart. Jared Duda leads that inside line with Sam Hoff pushing behind.
I thought I was dead as well.
We didn't catch what happened on camera there, but something in the back happened. A lot of drivers scanning the radio in absolute shock that, well, to put it the way they put it, that they aren't dead.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I missed a shift and taking
Snyder saying now he missed a shift, so good looking out by everybody. We are still clean and green, as now Sam Hoff is going to make a move on the outside to take the lead very comfortably with a pushing from Elliott Henderson.
I'm going to go ahead and stand corrected about what I said about these guys calming down. I just saw a very questionable block attempted to be thrown by Duda out of turn number 4. Same goes for Sam Hoff, cutting down the racetrack with Elliott Henderson. But now the 17 and the 37 are in control of this race. Henderson now looking back to the high side. He's going to pick up a run. No! Jim Duda goes to the high side, but he is going to get left by the 00 of Aiden DuPont. DuPont now pushing the 37 as Jim Duda is going to go to the back.
That is a losing strategy every time. If you don't have Elliott, you are setting yourself to the back of the pack. As we see that 16 truck, he's just going to continue to fall until he finds place in line. Now as Elliott Henderson leads the outside, Sam Hoff leads the race on that inside line.
There's something to be said for loyalty at these plate tracks. Sometimes the best strategy really is to sit in line with your drafting partners and just move yourself to the front as other people take themselves out of contention. Making a lot of moves like that, it's flashy, it looks cool, but it's not always the best strategy. Elliott Henderson with the lead for the first time tonight with Aiden DuPont, who we have not talked about that much, pushing him behind, so he'll be second on the outside line. Down the back straightaway, big wiggle out of the 00, but I think everything's okay. Just got a little bit loose there. Down the back straightaway, Henderson leads over DuPont and Darling. DuPont moves to the bottom. Henderson covers it off. Darling cuts down as well. Top 3 now on the low line.
Yes, sir.
A little bit of a note here, as I'm looking at that 00 in second place. Had a conversation with Aiden DuPont before the race. He found out today on race day that he was bumped off of Dark Horse Motorsports to Black Star Racing in favor of Tyrell Baker.
I can't go with
That
my
maybe driving with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
I ain't good. I just want to lead one. I ain't trying to.
Yeah, I think stuff like that can always set a driver off just a little bit. You never want to feel like you never want to feel like you're someone's first choice to get rid of. And I think that if Aiden's feeling that way, I could definitely see him racing a little bit more aggressive tonight. We've already seen a little bit out of him, a little bit of aggression. As the top 3 now going to move to the bottom. We're riding on board with Aiden DuPont. He's got a nice view of that battle up there up front. Now Austin Moore is going to be leading that outside line. It really seems like whoever can lead that outside line kind of cycles to the front. So it does make me wonder why these guys aren't a little bit more proactive in covering that off. Well, just as I say that, here Duda tried. He blocks all the way to the wall, picks up the run from Austin Moore, and he is going to get himself to the race lead with Jared Darling on the inside. Side by side through 1 and 2, and off turn number 2 for the 20th time tonight. Jared Duda takes back the race lead.
He's off to his city council meeting, so Ross, good luck governing tonight. These guys are going to battle side by side on turn number 4. It's Jared Duda and Jared Darling leading. And you know what? We talked about the aggression maybe stepping down a little bit, and I think you're right, Jonathan. It has absolutely not. As we see these guys battling side by side, I have to think this is basically all of these guys. Whoa, as we see the 93 almost push up into the 53. That would have been the big one for sure. Everybody saves it, everyone keeps going. The 53 loses a little bit of momentum on that high side. But yeah, you're completely right, Jonathan. They are still being as aggressive as they can. And I think that's a little bit of the nature of this package now. I don't think you can afford to sit back and make a power move to the front with 3 laps to go. I think these guys want to get to the front. I think they want to get the same fuel as they can. I think they want to spend the least amount of time on pit road. So it is really going to be interesting to see how all of this pans out.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I think a lot of it has to do with willingness to take gaps. I think the package sort of allows for that to happen, but at the end of the day, I think we see a lap truck here coming up on the entrance to turn 1. I believe that's the 55. Blew over in a wreck earlier today. He is going to stay out of harm's way and move to the back, so all clean there. But I think a lot of it has to do with these guys' willingness to take gaps. For example, you can see Evan Snyder back there. He was clear of the 53, and I think if he wanted to make a move for the lead, he could have jumped up and blocked. I think that the choice to not do that shows a sort of calmness, but the choice to do that, like we've seen out of some of the more aggressive drivers here, I'm looking to the 53 of Jared Duda and the 00 of Aiden DuPont, I think that's kind of what makes someone aggressive or not aggressive, is their willingness to just jump out of line and take a run like that to try and get to the lead.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think we kind of run the gamut here in the Great Lakes Truck Series of aggressiveness, of conservation. We kind of get the whole kit and caboodle here, as you'll see some guys content to just push, and you'll see some guys that, whether it's lap 1 or lap 80, are going to do everything they can to try to take the lead. And we're still seeing these two lines. You're exactly right. It's like whoever can get a good push, can get to that outside line, they see the cycle up, they see the cycle lead, and then it's kind of wash or speed.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with psyche as well. I think that there's more than one way to get to the front. I think a lot of guys try to be aggressive and kind of force their way up there, but at the same time, there's definitely something to be said for kind of just riding in line and waiting for an opportunity for your line to move forward. And taking advantage of momentum kind of as it happens, but also riding out the lows as well and staying loyal to the line you're in. Both of them have advantages, but I think one of the biggest differences between them is that just riding in line, you don't really feel that same degree of control. You don't really feel like you're making your own destiny, and I honestly think that that can be a kind of important aspect, you know? Drivers want to feel like they're making a difference in this race and like they're able to make moves, if nothing else, to prove it to themselves. Like Elliot Henderson there, great example. He moved to the outside line, took the run, jumped down in front of the 1 truck, so now he knows that he can make that move. He feels like he can make that move for the lead, and it's a big confidence booster.
Yeah, that was an absolute textbook move by the 37 Elliot Henderson, making his on-track return after being in the booth all of last season here on Split Second Broadcasting. He got the run on the inside on the truck in front of him, he hopped to the high side, took the rest of the run from that 53, and that propelled him straight to the lead. And now we're trying to see Jared Darling emulate the same thing on the high side, yet again with a push from that 53. I think Jared Duda, for as much time as he spent up front, seems to just be relegated to the pusher for the time being. Can't seem to get a push to the front, but my God, he's going to push someone to the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it also has to do with experimentation. I think drivers really like to kind of figure out what their role is, what they're good at, what they're not good at. That can be really important at a super speedway. If you know you're a good pusher, it might actually be better to stay in second because you can set yourself up for a better chance at a good finish. But at the same time, if you think you're a better leader, then it might be more beneficial to do something kind of like what Elliot Henderson did and take runs, take those big pushes. Jared Duda going to get himself back to the race lead with Austin Moore pushing behind. But just to go back to what I was saying, I think that these guys, as much as they know themselves, they also kind of want to figure out what they're good at, and they want to test the limits of what they're able to do here at Daytona. So some of it might even come down to experimentation, you know? Different drivers are going to take on different roles at different times.
Yeah, I agreed. Somebody in the back there. I'm not sure who that was. I don't know if they were having
warming up the tires.
I had a little bit of a moment there. I didn't catch who it is. I think it was the 23 of Spencer Owens. From the window to the wall on the back straightaway.
Well, there's something to be said for boredom as well. Riding in line, not always the most fun thing to do, and I think that's another thing that can contribute to aggression. I think that there's definitely something to be said for the fact that a lot of these guys don't want to sit in line because even though it's maybe the smarter option, it's not that fun. This is a long race. You know, each lap here takes a little under 50 seconds. You got 80 laps ahead of you. It's a big track, a long race. I can understand not wanting to sit in line the whole time. Elliot Henderson, another good example of that. He moves back to the high side, takes the lead. That seems to be kind of the move to be pulling off this race. Just moving to the outside, taking the lead, then blocking off the bottom before they get a chance to run back.
And did it once, and now he did it again. I'm interested to see if he's just going to stay on the high line here. No, well, he might have, but Jared Duda is actually going to make a move to his inside, and he's going to lead at the line. So that move was all for naught for Elliot Henderson. Now he's going to lead the outside line with Austin Moore on the high side. Jared Duda is going to lead at the bottom, pushed by Jared Darling.
Well, I've been waiting to see someone try this. I'm hoping Elliot kind of stays up here. Big block by Jared Duda out of turn number 2. Notice how that checked up the outside line. That could spell disaster later. But as I was saying, I've kind of been waiting for someone to try this and just stay. Well, never mind. There goes Elliot Henderson to the bottom. Duda couldn't cover it off. He tried his hardest, but Elliot Henderson muscles his way back to the race lead.
Yeah, that was a big move by Elliot on lap 28. I thought there for a second, I thought Jared Duda was going to get the bumper, and they managed to keep it clean, but a lot of aggression out of these guys early. As we see somebody on the high side there, whether they wanted to or not, is kind of bailing out of line.
You're the lucky dog, Greg.
I kind of don't blame him. There's with what's going on here, you know, it might not be fun like you're saying, but those guys that are single file in the back, I mean, they're going to be in the position if there is some sort of wreck up here to slow down and to not be in it, hopefully, if everybody plays their cards right. But then you can look back there and you can see there are some guys at the back of this pack that are
down on power?
to be trying to get more on the high side. You see Shane Niceworm on the high side there with 26 of Ashton Lawson.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
trying
can
to
keep
go
up with
somewhere
someone
to
right
kind of
behind me, but don't let me
these
hold you
guys,
up.
But there's only 2 of them there. I don't know if 2 trucks can overpower this entire line of guys on the bottom. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Well, I think in this situation they can, because what you'll notice is that Ashton Lawson has a lot of clean air out in front of him. While that inside line is going to be checking up with guys switching lanes and moving around, Lawson is going to be able to keep his foot on the floor and power to the front of the field. I like this move by Ashton, and well, he just got left. So that's kind of tragic. Okay.
You win
Well,
some and you lose some, right?
I don't understand that. I don't really understand moving down a line there. I think if you wanted to move up to the front, that was the way to do it, but now you've killed your own momentum and you're kind of just stuck on the inside. Oh, trouble! Turn 4! Couple of trucks hard on the wall. Dylan Poteet around. More trucks piling in at the end. Big crash cautions out for the second time tonight.
Well,
Sorry,
missed the
I
start of
tagged
Well,
it.
that one took me by surprise.
Yeah,
You're back in
I
fine.
kind of thought things were going to settle out a little bit. Obviously not. We're going to replay here in just a second. Looking back through the field, it looks like Nathan Jump is going to get the lucky dog, maybe. A lot of guys at the back avoided it. Having a hard time really telling who was involved in it. So let's go ahead and dial up the replay.
Well, it started around the 00 of Aiden DuPont. He got door slammed. He got hit in the side by Terrell Baker. Then he got tight, stacked up on the 32 of Nick Hansen. You'll see it on the replay here, but it was kind of your classic domino effect. Just trucks slowing each other up, getting into the back of each other, and eventually it just all went off. Luckily, no one flipped over this time.
All right, we'll take a look at it starting in turn 3 and see what happened here. And you're right, the 00 gets loose, the 32 stacks up, and the 82, Mike McConville, Cody McCorkle, just gets turned to the outside wall, and just a bunch of trucks sliding into it. Really nowhere to go for some of those guys.
Yeah, no trouble.
Yeah, that's kind of the nature of the beast here at Daytona. Checkups can happen real quick, and it's oftentimes really hard to avoid it. You'll notice 26 of Ashton Lawson did not get involved, so maybe it's a good thing he wasn't closer to the front of the field. But for the most part, yeah, just not a lot you can do. Yeah, I don't really see any egregious plows or anything here. It was definitely a tough situation for so many trucks to slide in there at the end, as you see Spencer Owens going to the grass to avoid it. Good job by him. Always better to get in the grass than get in the back of another truck. But for the most part, not a lot of these guys could do. Just your standard Daytona checkups followed by more checkups. That'll bring out your second caution of the night.
Yeah, let's ride on board with Cody McCorkle.
I'm so sorry, Eric.
1 stack up, 2 stack ups, and he was dead. Hard to the outside
that's
wall.
tough.
You see the 31 of Dylan Poteet already around. kind of one of those wrecks where you have two different things happening at the same time, maybe even three different things happening at the same time, just as a result of everybody kind of checking up and seeing what was happening.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really unfortunate.
Well,
I mean,
not
it's never
totally
good to be
terrible,
taken
but
out by
whatever.
something that you really had no control over. But unfortunately, that's just part of Daytona. That's part of what makes this place so special. I don't know if anyone is out of the race from that wreck, although I can't imagine that Cody McCorkle is going to be too competitive after that one. Looks like his front end got knocked off. So did the 44s of Matt Durr. Front clip is missing on that truck as we go on board with Dylan Poteet. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Looks like a lot of these guys... Well, actually, you know what? I take back what I said. I don't think anyone blew an engine in that wreck. I don't see any broken suspensions. Well...
Perhaps if
McCorkle might have a problem.
Perhaps if there's one good thing about this new damage model is it seems to be a lot more rigid, or I guess I should say a lot more flexible in the type of damage and the amount of damage you could take. In slow motion there, you can kind of see what I was talking about. There's two separate wrecks that kind of happen for the same reason. And yeah, just a lot of these guys with nowhere to go, a lot of good avoidance by the rest of the field. This happened, at about 10th, 15th place, so you had more than half a field of trucks coming. So again, another big wreck, but somehow not as big as it could have been here at Daytona.
Yeah, for sure. Quick damage report of the vehicles that entered pit road. Cody McCorkle came down, no body panels missing, but it looks like the front end is a little bit out of alignment. Dylan Poteet, for the most part, looks good. Not sure if there's any engine damage on that truck. The 18 of Ty Smith has damage to his front bumper. Nathan Nixon looks pretty much unscathed for the most part. Greg Mitchell, that truck got sucker punched in the front end. Matt Durr is missing a right front fender. But other than that, I do not think anyone will be out of the race. So honestly, pretty lucky break. Don't think I see anyone going a lap down either. Yeah, everyone is able to stay on the lead lap.
Similar to the last caution, everyone comes down pit road. Everybody fuels up. We have some takers here at the one to go to come down and top off. And we'll kind of rack it again. 15 laps of yellow, 30 laps of yellow. It'll be interesting to see if we could go to the end. If we go from here to the end, definitely makes the numbers more interesting if we were to go green from here. I think aggression is definitely not the strategy if you intend to make this race on one stop from here. Ross isn't here anymore. He was in that preseason Thunder event with me last night. It seemed like going as hard as you could. You got about 22, 23 laps on the fuel. But I think with the way this drafting model works and kind of how unique it is, you have the ability to save a lot. And I think you could save 25, maybe even, stretching it just kind of mentally from what I was seeing last night. Maybe even go as far as 28 laps, which I think would solidly put you in the one-stop range if you could make it that far. So interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how this shakes out as the field stacks back up, and we'll re-rack them and go again here at Daytona.
This is one of them damn electric trucks.
I think you can for sure make it on one stop from here. I've seen some fuel-saving heroics before. There's some guys that are unreasonably good at it, and I'm pretty sure that they'd be able to do it from here. It will be the number 1 of Jared Darling in that Casey's F-150, leading us to green alongside the 17 of Sam Hoff. Both these trucks have spent a lot of time at the front tonight. They look to stay up there as the pace truck comes down pit road. Darling gets us into the restart zone. Green flag is back out. We're back underway at Daytona. The outside line did not get going. The 17 of Sam Hoff sleeping on the restart. That'll allow Matt Daniels to pull through on the inside. Darling just got hung out to dry. That's unfortunate. Elliot Henderson goes to the inside with Terrell Baker. Sam Hoff, he is going to have a long way home.
Not clear, bud.
I don't know where the high side wanted to be on that restart, but it wasn't where it needed to be. We're going to see Tyrell Baker and Elliot Henderson make a move for the lead here, and they're probably going to get it down the back straightaway. But yeah, that high side was non-existent on that restart.
Yeah, the high side really died out there, but Terrell Baker able to take advantage. TCB to the front, one of the most liked drivers in the field. I know a lot of people like this guy. They're going to be happy to see him out front. He is leading at Daytona. Give lap 34 to the 8 truck. TCB out front.
TCB out to the front, but for how long? We've got that high side reforming. Now Jared Darling is actually going to make the move again in front of the pusher of the day, Jared Duda in that 53 truck. Going to shove Jared, oh God, maybe right to the lead, almost around off of turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, the body language of this pack, it is not telling me that we're going to go green the rest of the way. These guys are moving out of line every chance they get. None of these lines are stable. Henderson darts to the bottom. Look at Duda trying to cover him off. Oh, he nearly got him in the left rear, too. That's very close. This is not sustainable. I'm hoping they calm down soon, or else we're going to spend a lot more time under caution. Darling keeps the race lead. He's been dominant nearly all day. Elliott Henderson behind. Duda leading the outside. Lap 36 now underway. Jared Darling at the point.
Yeah, I have to imagine these guys at some point are going to try to settle down, but again, it's a it's a tale of two packs. I think we've got 13 trucks up here that are content to just brawl for the win, and then you can kind of see it as we roll down the back straightaway. We have about a mile of trucks that are just single file. Well, make a liar out of me. There are some trucks on the high side back there trying to either make position or just get in line. But it's a tale of two races. You got guys up front battling for the win,
left rear
and then this long single file train just seeing what happens.
Yeah, I've had a decent amount of experience super speedway racing on iRacing, and it seems like every race kind of has a vibe to it. And if a race gets a vibe where people are going to be aggressive, that's going to stay all race. And as unfortunate as it is, kind of have to play that game in races like this. I don't think saving fuel is necessarily a viable strategy if there's going to be cautions to bail out everyone that doesn't. And with the way these guys are racing, I find it hard to imagine that we're going green until the end of the race. Elliott Henderson, he's going green. He's going to the front. He is leading once again with Jared Duda pushing close behind. Henderson now dives to the bottom. That'll leave Duda out front on the high side with a push from Sam Hoff, who's back up front again.
Looking at timing and scoring, it's really interesting. This pack up here that's 2x2 from first to about 14 is running significantly faster than that kind of broken up single file line of trucks. And now these guys need to be worried if they lose the draft here. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to pick it back up. Let's go on board with the last car in line here.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying. I think that I understand that maybe some of these guys want a fuel save, but honestly, when the guys at the front are racing so aggressively, I don't think it's a viable strategy. I think if everyone wants to be aggressive, you have to play that game. So I'll be interested to see how it works out. But I mean, look at the front now. Everyone's darting around, trying to make third lanes. Everyone's moving. I don't think that fuel saving is the way to go.
Yeah, it's impossible to look anywhere else because these guys up front are just not having any of it. They're content to brawl for this win. Makes a better show for us, but oh man, Jared's gonna cut to the bottom in front of Elliott Henderson. Maybe not the most aggressive move we've seen all night, but you always wonder when somebody's gonna make that move too early or too late, and it's gonna end a couple people's days.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got to balance risk with reward. To be completely honest, I think most of the moves we're seeing now are a little too far on the risk side, but at the same time, I understand that you can't really hang back all race and just wait till the end to start making stuff happen. So I guess it's good to get comfortable with making those moves now. I just worry for what could happen if something goes wrong. In turn number 3, Jared Darling out front like he's been for a lot of this race. Terrell Baker leading on the high side in that number 8 Silverado through 3 and 4. Darling still leading. Here comes the outside line.
Yeah, Monday morning quarterbacking might be one of the simplest things to do. But right now, on track, the drivers are, I guess, really trying to put this in their hands. You see Jared Duda maybe a bit of a mistake or maybe just trying to side draft. Matt Daniels pulling the same move. And you know, that's something I'm actually curious about, Jonathan. I don't know if you've had any time on a super speedway in this truck, but I know side drafting used to be at least decently effective. Is that something that's still effective here, especially at a track like Daytona?
Honestly, Jeff, I'm not seeing it a lot tonight. It seems like either... Oh, trouble! Jared Duda gets turned in front of the field! Hard into the wall goes the 91 of Austin Moore. Caution is out again. Only 2 trucks seem to go fully around this time. But that is unfortunate for the 91 of Austin Moore. He was putting together a solid day, and now that truck is smoking. He is done.
I don't think I've ever seen a GLR field check up.
I called it. When everyone's racing that aggressive, I do not think that fuel saving's the play. That caution should bail out everybody for the rest of the race. Unless, of course, you're the driver of the 91, Austin Moore, who is smoking as he pulls that battered race truck to pit road. His night is likely done. Jared Duda still out on track with a mostly intact truck. He was the other perpetrator of that incident. Moore's going to park it in his pit box. Take a look at what happened.
Gavin, you gotta pass me. 14.
Well, we'll get a look at the replay.
Have to
I
get
was
some
hoping
air the nose when the
I was
gauge is
hoping the
blinking red.
commentator's curse would kind of work in reverse, but it was
Sorry,
all for
it didn't tell
naught,
me
as
that
we've
till
had
actually- or
probably
oh,
our
Jesus.
biggest wreck
Goddamn
today,
camel
Austin
ski.
Moore. You're absolutely right. He got the worst end of that.
Or I'll just let
His
it blow up
day
in
is
front of the field
absolutely
too. That works.
done. Let's take a replay from high above in the blimp. And what on earth was that? It looked
Yeah.
like
He got arrow loose, Jeff.
arrow loose. Yeah, we'll go with that.
I mean, can we say it? We all know what that was.
I don't want to say it, but you know what it was. We'll take a more in-depth look here. Finding
Yeah,
a 53 truck on our timing and scoring, but for as much grief as we were giving these guys, that looked to be something that should have worked but didn't. We'll take a slow motion replay.
Yeah, it was
look
more.
and my goodness.
Tire went out
Turtle,
on the
you're struggling
53
with that pit box,
Yeah.
man.
out of nowhere. Unfortunate, but it happens sometimes. And it looks like the 91, Austin Moore, just tried to squeeze to the middle to avoid it. I like the play. Unfortunately, out of his control, the 17 came down on him, packed him into the outside wall, and that's going to end the day for Austin. Unfortunate set of circumstances that ultimately wasn't really anybody's fault, but hey, at the end of the day, we are still playing a video game over here. You know, stuff like that is bound to happen from time to time. Luckily, only took out one truck, and we'll be able to go back green shortly.
Yeah.
And once again, everybody in the field coming down pit road.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of guys pit.
Yeah, I
Interestingly
think I-
enough, Jared
I thought
Duna
you were
will
gonna
take
miss
quick
it.
on board with him. He might have been the one that came
I
out of
thought
that
I was
wreck
too.
the most unscathed. See a
Just
couple,
remember,
couple hard
See
contacts
the
there.
green
I'd
blob
be
pit
interested
board?
to see how much
The
damage
one behind
he
that
has.
one.
Definitely looks like that truck is capable of continuing. It's just a question of how much aero damage does it have.
Listen, man, sorry, we didn't have any more paint.
He
left.
is on pit road right now, sitting for repairs, Jeff. He's been on there for a while. A couple other trucks are on pit road for damage repairs. The 5 of Brett Kingcutt, the 82 of Cody McCorkle,
I know.
Ty
It wasn't in
Smith,
the budget.
Greg Mitchell, Austin Moore. So a couple of trucks that were caught up in the last wreck, waiting for service on pit road as well. So far, though, only one truck a lap down, Austin Moore. Matt Durr currently 4 laps down, so I'd imagine he's out of contention as well. Definitely unfortunate, but not too many trucks taken out in that one. One thing I do want to keep an eye out is who is going to come down pit road to top off on fuel, because if there was ever a timing of caution where one lap of fuel can make a difference, I think it's right now, Jeff. We'll see if anyone pulls it down this time by. 26 is looking at it. Ashton Lawson from the lead. Nick Hansen as well. We haven't seen him at the front all day. Lawson stays out. Hansen comes in. So does Barbagelata. I think coming into top off is going to be a popular call here. I'm seeing 3 trucks in as of now. Maybe not. 3 trucks bring it down pit road. Now 4. James Shiflett at the back.
Yeah, might be a mixed set of decisions here. Maybe less based on fuel strategy and more based on comfort. If we're going to keep racing like that, I don't know that I would be the most comfortable person in the crowd racing up front. So you kind of get twofold. You kind of get the safety of the back of the pack, which so far today has had a pretty good track record of avoiding all of the mayhem.
Shane, can I have a black clear? I had a brain fart.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think there's something to be said for just kind of waiting at the back of the field. These guys have been lucky that these wrecks haven't taken out more trucks. I think that's due in part to the damage model on here. It's pretty rigid. These trucks are sturdy. A lot of these hits haven't been too hard. But at the same time, I wouldn't feel necessarily safe racing like that, because one bad angle and it could end your day, regardless of how hard the hit was. Unfortunately, with iRacing, a really hard side-to-side hit isn't really going to do too much, but if you hit at a bad angle and you break a suspension or damage your engine, that's pretty much your chances gone completely. Ashton Lawson is going to lead the field back to green. Rod Fasnaugh for the first time up at the front, as well as Alex Fenner. So a couple of new names up here. Mike McConville as well have entered the fight for the lead. We'll see if that changes the dynamic of the racing at all. We still have just about half the race to go. When we get back going, it'll be about 37 laps to go here at Daytona. The pace truck leading them through 3 and 4 now. They're going to dive off to the left in just a moment, leave the field in the hands of Ashton Lawson. Sun's starting to set at Daytona. As the track cools down, we'll see if the intensity picks up. Pace truck is in. Field in the hands of the 26. Alongside Rod Fasnaugh. Green flag is back out. Big jump by the 26 of Ashton Lawson. He is going to be on his own as they go into turn number 1. A couple of trucks diving for the bottom line. Not a good restart for Rod Fasnaugh. He's going to head not quite to the back. He can jump down in front of Daniels if he wants it. He takes it now. Daniels cuts to the high side. They're shimmying around to the back. Lawson out front with a big gap, but here comes Henderson and Baker to the high side.
Just about a carbon copy of that last restart.
We're
Ashton
screwed.
Lawson gets a big jump and then just
Yeah, I figured that
abandons
as soon
ship.
as he launched.
And now you're going to see TCB and Elliot Henderson take the lead. Sunsetting quick here at Daytona. Just a couple laps past halfway. Lost in the sauce a little bit in the last caution. So we're making good time here tonight. Jonathan, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how this race plays out from here. You see the A truck move to the high side, but get in front of Matt Daniels.
56
trying to make that
points
move on
pretty
the high
bad.
side of Elliot Henderson. Matt Daniels, in his return to the Great Lakes Truck Series, have a good showing so far, good strong showing. We'll see if he tries to make the move to the bottom here, and he is. He's going to dive in front of Elliot Henderson. Ooh, don't wash up, Matt. Keep that momentum going, and I think that 37 is going to get glued to that 45 and push him to the lead.
Lost in the sauce.
Hey, get behind me.
All right, we'll move on.
Go.
Matt Daniels is leading the race now with a big push from Elliot Henderson. Baker trying to side draft a little bit on the high side, but that Walmart Tundra is moving to the front. Now, Jared Darling dives to the bottom. He's going to be the third truck in line on the inside line, pushing Henderson and Daniels out front, side by side for second, but Daniels is clearing the lead.
Matt Daniels leading his first laps in a few seasons here in the Great Lakes Truck Series in that Walmart 45 truck. Elliot Henderson just sneaks to the high side again in front of that 8 truck of TCB, and I think that's going to be all she wrote momentarily for the 45 of Matt Daniels. Elliot Henderson going to retake the lead on the high side. We're starting to see these guys figure it out. Oh, TCB.
Oh, whoa, Baker, big dive to the bottom. That stacks up the inside lane. Sideways goes the 45. Is he going to save it? He gets tagged again. My goodness, what a save. He's still sliding. Oh, lock it down, Matt. He's gone. He's gone.
Good save.
Daniels couldn't save it.
Saves
That
the-
is unfortunate.
Damn you,
saves the
Tyler.
field,
You
but-
need to learn how to stay up out of there. Shit.
saves the
Bad
field,
block.
but kind of
Not himself.
loses his race for now. I kind of didn't catch if that was just a bad bump from TCB that he
You,
couldn't hold,
you the one that
or a little bit
ran
of
in front of me.
a little bit of netcode.
I'm
There's,
not
there's
Tyler.
definitely some chatter about that move on
Tyrell,
the radio,
whatever
but
your name is.
definitely a good save for all parties involved here. It's that 45. That's just about the longest save I think I've ever seen here at Daytona.
Yeah. Baker made a huge dive to the bottom. Honestly, overcooked it. That stacked up the inside lane hard, but luckily, no one out of the race. No one got wrecked. Just unfortunate for Matt Daniels is now Michael Senzi is back to the front. We haven't seen him up here in a while. And who we haven't seen at all at the front is the 13 pushing him of Lewis Woodall.
Yeah, the first time I've seen the 13 up in the lead. Might be wrong. I thought that 92 was involved in a wreck earlier. Maybe I'm getting my numbers mixed up.
Surprised me.
I had thought he was upside down at some point. So I'm probably wrong about that. So it's good to see Michael Senzi back up front battling for the lead with his teammate Elliot Henderson, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes, as much as I know about this league, I also forget things. But again, we're kind of seeing a tale of two races, kind of pushed by the incident that 45 had. We've got 2 packs that are 2x2 at front,
Oh, but
and
it's
then
not
we have
gonna
another
work.
pack a little bit behind who's just kind of lost it.
Hey Nick, go on by. I got too much nose damage. You guys are gonna listen to fall behind.
They're losing time fast on this front pack.
Thank you.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that incident kind of separated the field. I imagine we'll have another caution to stack people back up. Elliot Henderson still leading down the back. One thing I thought that was kind of interesting is I didn't quite catch who it was, but there was a pair of trucks back there that were kind of moving up and down in tandem, maybe trying to catch a run, catch the draft. Kind of hard to tell what they were doing,
go
but
down low
definitely
in the
some people
corner.
finding
Go
new
down
ways
low in the
to
corner.
try and make moves.
Well, I was about to say all is calm up front for now, but now we see TCB tried to make a move to the high side. Elliot Henderson actually moved up the block. TCB is going to get the lead lead on the bottom.
He didn't say Simon Says.
Lose all that momentum he had. And now we're going to see Shane Nicewander actually out front for the first time today.
Why are we running the middle?
I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him all
faster.
night either. So Shane Nicewander to the front with
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Tyrell Baker, TCB 25K.
It is. We're
And,
catching.
it is, I guess it's go time for some of these guys.
See a couple of new drivers at the front, which I haven't really seen before, but still there's a couple of those perennial favorites. Jared Darling, one of those guys that's kind of been up front all race. He moves to the outside to take the lead, but seems like for now we're kind of back to status quo. Drivers just kind of shuffling around, inside, outside, moving around, but nothing major happening as of yet. I wonder if maybe they're trying to make it to green flag pit stops.
Yeah, definitely everybody gonna have to make that green flag pit stop. Be interesting.
Anytime
to see
we're
how
turning,
that
though,
shakes
get down to
out
the
when
bottom.
we get there. A little bit of driver chatter.
We're
from
good.
the guys. Pack is separated from the field, just trying their best to maximize speed. As we see kind of a three-wide incident here.
Sorry,
in the,
Zach,
the
I'm
middle
just
of the pack.
playing
It looked like somebody
nature.
either bailed out or got shoved out. I can't really pinpoint the number of that truck.
That was the 56 of Matthew Weeks. Looks like he ended up on the high side, headed to the back in a
I didn't
hurry.
notice you did anything there, Gavin. But did you say you're playing lead?
Stops for back. It looks like that pack of trucks that had lost a bunch of time.
No, I
is-
said I'm playing
is
Snake.
going to catch back up. So all that conversation about running optimal line seems to have paid off. They're going to at least catch the tail end of the draft here and not.
I
lose the
tried to
field.
play League once and I
It
could
really
not
looked like for
figure
a
out
second
way
like
too many
these guys
buttons.
were going to be hung out to dry. And, once you lose the lead pack, it's really game over until you get a caution.
Well, that can make for an interesting situation because you're going to have a big pack of trucks kind of catching up and bunching up with the leaders at a bit of a closing rate. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do about it. You see Hansen going to the high side of Matthew Weeks, so he's electing to take the run. We'll see if Duda decides to do the same or decides to stay in line. He also goes to the high side. But I have noticed the body language of the pack seems to be a little bit different now. Everyone seems a little bit calmer. I wonder if maybe they were getting tired of pacing around so much, don't want to wreck more trucks. I could see green flag pit stops happening here.
I'll tell you what, another thing I just noticed. Look who is up in P20. It is Jared Duda. With all that damage on the front of his truck, he is making some moves, and it looks like he's still got some speed in that thing, Duncan.
Well, there's something to be said for a truck's ability to keep pace by just keeping momentum. A lot of times with this aero damage, it's not honestly all that bad if you can stay in the draft and just not lift. It takes a lot of bravery to do that because it means that you kind of need to take every run you can get, but there's definitely ways to mitigate aero damage, even at such an aero-dependent track like this. I mean, that's kind of what I mean. You see Duda having to, like, move out of line there, take every run he can get. I think he knows that if he lifts, he's going to lose a lot of time.
Yeah, just like you said, you saw him do it right there. He just takes the run, keeps the momentum. Didn't even hear him lift, and you kind of saw that top line pull away from him. So I think you're exactly right. He is just trying to keep that momentum as high as he can.
Oh, trouble! Front of the field, the 49 truck up on two wheels. The big one strikes again. That is nearly everybody. Terrell Baker in the lead escapes unscathed, but a huge pack of cars taken out in that one. It was the 49 Shane Nicewanger got turned sideways in front of the field, lifted up into the air, and that turned into a massive crash. Ironically, though, the 49 kind of comes out
Yeah, I thought I
unscathed.
hit you straight, and that was not
Take a
straight.
look at a
That meant
replay.
You just got hooked.
Yeah, it hasn't done
We'll take
that
a
the
long
whole
look at it
time.
coming
That
down
was
the back
really random.
straightaway. It
Yeah,
sounds like
I don't
it
know.
might have been a bump gone bad on the high side. You can see the 49 of Shane Nicewanger
Just that
leading the
face car,
inside,
we'll figure it out
making
when we
run
get
a
to
lead
the
in the
wall.
one of Jared
Just a face
Darling.
car.
It looks like he just got a bad bump and sends the 49 flipping. It's funny, the one of Jared Darling
The
looks
truck
like
that
he just
deserves
held
to wreck it.
the brakes as soon as he
Screw
hit
you,
Shane
Lewis,
Nicewanger.
for Make
Didn't
America a colony again.
get hit by anything else. But
Yeah, another weird incident. I don't see a lot of trucks with serious damage in this one.
53, you gotta pass me up here.
take a longer,
5-3.
slower look at it here, just to kind of see
I will
what
bring
happened.
peace and
We'll give
prosperity
you a
to my
half-speed
new
look down the back
empire.
straightaway. You see the one of Jared Darling get pumped out of
Your
line.
new empire?
And Shane Nicewanger does a pretty good,
Hunter,
his best
get by me.
imitation at a kickflip. And then there's that 92 of Michael Senzi. You could see him wrecked on the high side. He had a good,
telling me to
he had a good run
but
going.
not
It's a shame to see him in that. 13 of Lewis Wood all involved.
Elliot, it says you need to. Sorry for snapping.
And then a lot of good avoidance
If you're
again
not
by
with
these guys
me,
stacked up in the back.
you're my
It's
enemy.
always good to see when people know how to
Only
use
a
the brake
fifth
pedal.
feels an absolute.
Guys, let's keep the comms clear here.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't think anyone got taken out in that wreck. That actually, now that I think about it, that could be one of the reasons why guys are maybe a little bit less reserved about racing so aggressively, because at the end of the day, these hits are hard, but I'm not seeing anyone get taken out.
Yeah, iRacing.
It's a lot of spinning.
Yeah, definitely iRacing seems to be a lot more forgiving damage model-wise. Taking a look at that replay, we'll take a looking back on the one truck of Jared Darling and just kind of see what he saw. You'll see coming off of turn 2 here, Elliot Henderson will have a pretty big run. And it looks like, well, I know what
I think he just got stacked up behind Baker. Yeah.
Yeah, look, you can almost see the back end come off the track just for a second, and that just turns him to the left. So again,
exactly.
Another incident in the front of the field. Not sure how many trucks are going to come out of that unscathed.
Jared, how much you got?
But there were definitely a lot of guys involved, and again, yeah, you're right. I think there's a lot of spinning, a lot of flipping, and hopefully, for everybody's sake, maybe not a lot of damage coming out of that.
Yeah, no.
I'll tell you what, Jeff, I see a lot of trucks on pit road this time to get damage repair, but most of them look pretty clean. Jared Darling is among them, so is Elliot Henderson, but I don't really see a lot of damage to their trucks, so I don't know if maybe that's just preventative or maybe they have engine damage, but I can't imagine that's going to truly take out any contenders.
While we have a moment here, I'm going to drag up one of our split-second correspondents here that is racing tonight, Gavin Fitzgerald.
I think my car is okay.
Truck.
I didn't really hit anything, I just kind of jumped in the air.
We have an idea of what's happening on track right now, but what are you seeing down there?
I'm seeing a lot. I mean, all these wrecks seem to be coming from the middle of the pack. We're actually just talking about it.
Ellie, how bad are you?
Yeah, that's kind of what we're worried about here is the wrecks in the middle of the pack. Does that mean the wrecks are going to the front? Does it mean the wrecks are going to the back? We don't really know. All I know is that we've got what is essentially a 25-lap dash ahead of us here.
As far as aggression goes,
what
do you think?
Aiden came back across and it kind of like pinched me in the wall, and I think it just ruined my right front suspension.
I mean, the aggression's been, I don't know, it comes and goes, like, you're just, everyone seems to be riding, and then just out of nowhere, everybody, like, gets antsy, and everybody wants to go, like, that's basically what just happened up front there, was, everyone seemed to be good, and then I just saw smoke in the yellow come out, so it's been kind of all over the place. I definitely think, looking at these guys ahead of us here, we've got definitely the opportunity for a lot of aggression. There's a lot of aggressive guys up here, so everyone's got to be on their toes here, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how it goes. You know how unpredictable these races can be.
Absolutely, Gavin. Thank you for giving us a quick summation of what you're seeing. Jonathan, we're about half a lap from the green. It looks like fuel is out of the question.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
So if it wasn't a brawl already, it looks like it is going to be a brawl to the end.
Well, you can never be too sure. I'd imagine that at this point everyone is probably good on fuel and ready to go racing to the end of this race, but you never know when a race is going to suddenly develop a green flag run to. Now, I don't think that's going to happen here, but it's always a possibility. Leading us back to green will be 8 of Terrell Baker, and alongside him, the 7 of Hunter Madalinas. You can see the 8 saving fuel on the apron there, so maybe for him, fuel is still a concern. I'm not sure when he last came down pit road. But regardless, Pace Truck is going to lead us through 3 and 4 as we come back to green.
It looks like TCB last pitted with everyone else, so maybe a little bit of a long con there, trying to save some fuel. This league does have up to 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish, so it'll be interesting to see if that comes into play in the end. Hopefully not. Looks like we're going to set up for about a 23-lap shootout as the pace truck turns left down pit road.
Green, green, green.
Here we go again. Baker leading us back to green. He's got Aiden DuPont behind him. We are back racing at Daytona. 23 laps to go. It was Baker But Hunter Madalinas gets the run on the high side. He has the 33 of Nathan Nixon pushing behind. Out of turn 2, it'll be a battle of momentum. Hunter Madalinas with a big push from the 33. He's going to edge in front of the 8 truck, side by side down the back.
Yeah, first restart all night where we've seen both lines pretty even and pretty stacked up. So it looks like Hunter Madalinas, if this push doesn't go right for him, would be able to drop down and take the lead. But something I've wondered about all night is somebody in Madalinas' position, is he better off staying on that high side and kind of trying to control the field?
Thank you.
Well, I think you got to consider who you're dropping in front of. Nothing against TCB, but he definitely seems more like an aggressive driver, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily who I'd want pushing me. Not because I don't think he's a good pusher, but more so because I'd be worried that he's going to jump out of line. I think maybe if you have someone dedicated behind you, that's a better option. Not a lot of dedication there, though. 3 trucks just jump down from the high side to the bottom. That allows Jim Duda to take the lead. He's got Baker pushing him behind. Another one jumps out from the top. Duda to the middle. He's going to get split. Contact! Oh, they're on the apron. He's back up the track. There they go. The 12 gets turned. Zach Henry around. Another big crash.
That was certainly.
Why would you do that? Like, you saw it was there. Not like I went under the line.
I think it was the 16 of Jim Duda. Just held TCB below the yellow line and kind of caused that wreck. And another melee in turns 3 and 4.
Hey, Jump, you're missing your back end.
Pretty good example of why you can't be indecisive at these tracks. We'll take a look at a replay in just a second here, but looks to me like Duda didn't really know what lane he wanted, and he ended up wrecking.
It's damage too. I don't understand how y'all have fun doing this shit. I really just don't get it.
It was fun up front for a while, and then I ruined it.
Well, taking a look from high above the back straightaway.
It's fun when we aren't throwing stupid blocks.
16 moves up to 8.
Yeah, we can actually get some racing in.
16 just runs him down. I don't really know what the 16's plan was there. Whatever it was didn't work.
Like, is it bad, or is it just slightly bad?
Probably the biggest wreck we've seen tonight because it happened right at the front of the field, Jonathan.
Yeah, I imagine he just got a little bit stuck. He didn't really want to be on the bottom, but he didn't want to make a big block to the top, and unfortunately, we kind of just ran out of room. It was like behind him, there were kind of 2 separate incidents. As first,
I'm pretty
yeah, there were 2 incidents there. So first, the 12 of Zach Henry comes up into the 33 and gets turned, but then behind him there was a second set of incidents which started around the 77 of Kevin Watler, sorry. So he gets pushed from behind by the 45, and that was just a result of the checkups on the inside row. So Daniels gets in a Watler, and that's what turned him up the track.
Taking another look at it, you can see the 12 of Zach Henry almost clear, and then not clear. Gets right in front of the field. 5, 6, 7 trucks involved right there. And then you're right, there's a secondary incident kind of at the back of this that we'll take a look at in a second.
Someone should edit this wreck, and when the 27 car gets hit, just have the Taco Bell. Dong. I gotta say, it's a very interesting paint scheme. I don't really see a lot of Taco Bell colors, but I'll take it. Yeah, that was one of the bigger wrecks we've seen tonight, and I think it's kind of turning into a classic case of cautions breeding cautions. Damage report, we got more trucks on pit road, a couple with serious damage, although I don't see anything too torn up, too destroyed.
I fixed everything I could.
I'd say the biggest loser out of that might have been the 5 of Brent Kingcott. He is bent up in the right front. Looks like a little bit of damage to the left front as well. Not looking too good.
What's my front look like?
Well, we're definitely going to get our...
If they pit,
your front looks pretty good, maybe like a slight scrape, but nothing bad.
I was just going to say, I think that if they pit now, they can definitely make it to the end, as if that was a question before.
And then he just shot back up on the track, and I tagged him up the front, like T-boned him. But my car feels pretty good for catching some air in that second to last wreck, and whatever just happened there.
Oh, we've had an abundance of cautions.
3 off and a little bit of side damage, but we're going to fucking march our way back forward here.
The 13 of Lewis Woodall has taken it to the garage. So has Austin Moore. Adolfo Delgado has retired from the race. And then Tony Manji unable to start due to an unknown issue. So we'll follow up on that. But definitely.
Well,
definitely
no one came down to top off.
Early in the race as we get the one to go.
I'm going to check real quick if Hunter pitted under that caution, but it looks to me like everyone might have stayed out. Yeah, so a couple of guys in the back came down to pit, but for the most part, a lot of trucks stayed out. So I have to imagine fuel isn't too much of an issue. Although, if a fuel runs 20 laps, I mean, if green, white checkers are going to be a concern, I might come down to pit, but I suppose I'm not their crew chief, so I'll trust their calls. But I definitely think that pitting there might have been a good idea, because with the way this race has been going, I would want to be insured for all 3 green, white checkered attempts.
Yeah, the last thing we want to have is a recreation of the Nashville race this weekend.
Oh God!
Definitely a lot more fun to watch than it is to race in or really be a part of it anyway. So hopefully we get a good run to the finish here. But that is also just kind of the nature of these Great Lakes races. We have some races that are to put it in terms for this generation, absolute bangers. And then we have races that sometimes just kind of turn into a cluster. And you never really know what you're going to get, and I think that is sometimes also just the nature of iRacing as we are gearing up for what I think will be our 5th restart of the race.
I think it's the nature of Daytona. I mean, it's kind of hard to expect a clean race when you pack everyone up so tight. And after all, 80 laps, I mean, that's on the shorter side for Daytona races, so I think there's already a sense of urgency, and just combined with the nature of plate racing, it's a tall order to get a clean race out of this. I think overall we're doing okay today. Hunter Matalinas is going to lead us to green. He is alongside Nathan Nixon with Eric Kepf and Jim Duda, your pushers in row 2. Pace truck is in, puts the field in the hands of the number 7 Toyota Tundra. Into the restart zone. We are green at Daytona.
Could I please get a black clear?
Looking backwards on board from Hunter Matalinas.
The car behind me wasn't caught
Another
up.
good restart from both sides.
Thank you.
And they are still going to be basically neck and neck through 1 and 2.
Matalinas gets a little bit of an advantage on the bottom. Here comes Nixon back on the high side with Eric Kepf pushing. So far, though, just double file. I don't see anyone jumping out of line to make a third lane. Maybe a half look by one of those trucks in the back, but doesn't seem like anything's going there. I believe that's the 26 of Ashton Lawson who's now getting shuffled out of line. That inside line's got strength in numbers, so they are going to lead us out of turn number 4.
Hunter Matalinas is going to lead him across start-finish line, and the intensity is only going to pick up as if it hasn't been intense already. Fuel should be good to the end if we go green.
Tell you what, DuPont, you're lucky I pumped the gas.
It's going to be a straight race from here. Nathan Nixon leads the high side with fellow SP2 teammate and team owner Eric Kep. Good to see the 63 up front. Haven't noticed him up here all night. Eric is usually pretty good at the strategy of riding until it's time to go, and obviously that 63 thinks it's time to go, and I would tend to agree. We're going to be coming to about 16 laps to go at the line. And now it's just a question of who gets the momentum and who is going to be in position. As
33rd and 34th, just where we belong, Zach.
Lead that bottom line.
Coming to the stripe, we'll pick up 16 laps to go. Matalinas leads with Jim Duda, the pusher. Chris Heller, the third truck in line. Haven't talked about him much all night. Nathan Nixon leading that outside line. I'm not seeing anyone too eager to jump up yet. Ironically, we might be in the point of the race where people are going to start getting a little bit calmer, just because at this point, you don't really want to be a sitting duck out front. So a lot of these guys might actually prefer to be kind of setting up a run behind.
Well, I was talking, I said good things about Eric Kep, and he's gone. It looks like internet connection issues. Oh, he is back. He has reappeared at the back of the pack. Looks like he had a connection issue.
That's unfortunate.
Wisely pulled the brakes and got to the bottom, and he has reappeared. So good he's back. Good he's still in the session, but he is all the way off the field.
Luckily, one more caution should bail him out. Whoa, Jim Duda loose in the tri-oval. He's able to gather it back up. 3 wide for a moment. Terrell Baker takes advantage of the stack up. He shoots from the top to the bottom. 2 lanes moved, 1 position gain. Terrell Baker back to the point at Daytona. 3 wide behind.
One Duda's misfortune is Tyrell Baker's advantage. He's going to take the lead again, and it is absolutely go time. We see some guys at the back, the 14, trying to build a 3rd lane. I just don't know. Without commitment, I don't know how good of an attempt that'll be.
Yeah, seems like something to do with the aero on these trucks. Really just seems like a 3rd lane never really becomes all that viable. Baker and Nixon still out front. That was a great move by Baker to take advantage of that spot and take the lead. That's the kind of moving that we're going to need to see coming down to the end of this race, because as this race gets closer to the end, I don't think there's going to be any more space in the pack for movement. Baker from the bottom to the top blocks off a run by Nixon.
Oh, yeah.
He timed that very well. Didn't even see much of a stack up on the outside line.
Yeah, TCB, we kind of saw this with him last season at Daytona and Talladega. An expert at working the lanes, kind of like I was mentioning earlier in the race. So I think we're at the point of the race where we're going to see that 8 truck try to control both lines and keep anybody from getting the advantage
Can
on
we
it.
hold the line, please?
Yeah, I think right about now is when we're going to start seeing the blocking get a little bit more aggressive. I'm not sure if you were able to catch the Road to Pro season opener all the way back at the start of the year, but at least in top split, you could tell as the race got down to the end, people started throwing some aggressive blocks, and I think we're going to start seeing that as Terrell Baker. I think he's going to care a little bit less about loyalty and finding a line he likes, and more so just about keeping the lead.
Yeah, the person who's really in the catbird seat right now is Hunter Matalinas, as you see him right there get a push from the 11 of Chris Heller. So Matalinas is going to get to the high side. He's going to try to take the lead from that 8 truck and control this race.
One truck sliding around in the back. I believe that was Rod Fasnon, the number 4. He gathered it back up. All is well there. Hunter Matalinas leading us back to the line. Oh, never mind. Terrell Baker's going to lead the lap. Side by side for the lead as we begin lap 69 of 80.
Yeah, the runs, the different lines are getting every corner, kind of making it hard to anticipate who is going to be in the lead on either corner of the racetrack. We see Matalinas in that top side.
I'd rather race on Flight
and we're
Simulator.
seeing the 16 and the 8, Tyrell Baker getting a run on the bottom of the backstretch, kind of counter to what you would expect to see at a track like Daytona. Matalinas is going to make the move to the bottom, take the lead for sure from that 8 of Tyrell Baker, and now Matalinas is going to try to be in control of this race. But that 8 truck is an expert pusher and an expert maneuverer, so we'll see as he tries to top. Oh, he tries to get to the high side. Matalinas tries to throw the block, thinks a little bit better of it. Push from the 11. The 8 truck of Tyrell Baker is going to move back to the lead with 11 laps.
Whoa, contact going into turn number 1. One truck shuffled out of line. I believe that's the 14 of Fitzgerald. Back up into the track. Hard crash in 1 and 2. Caution is back out again.
Ashton, what was that?
Greg Mitchell. Well, that's an awkward spot to be in. Greg Mitchell on top of Hunter Brittle riding through 1 and 2.
Man, I thought
Brittle going to get clear of him. That was a nasty crash through 1 and 2. Caution is back out again.
Yeah, you almost had it.
Yeah, I kind of missed it. I thought the 14 of Gavin Fitzgerald was gonna. I'm just seeing what you're looking at. I was kind of thinking Gavin Fitzgerald was gonna come back across the track and cause problems, but it looked like we had some problems farther back. We're gonna take a look from.
Yeah, exactly what it was. So you'll see here, you can't see it on your screen, but the 14 of Fitzgerald gets sent out of line. That causes a stack up and just a bit of a domino effect there like we've seen earlier, and Greg Mitchell gets turned into the outside wall hard off of contact with the 45 of Matt Daniels. Unfortunately, Hunter Brittle had nowhere to go, and that has almost certainly ended his day. That was a hard hit.
Yeah,
never mind. The truck is still driving. Maybe he's fine. Oh, nope. Right front's completely broken. All right, Hunter Brittle's done, and I believe so is the 55 of Mitchell.
Yeah, two incredibly hard hits for those guys. And just like you said, just a massive stack up on the bottom line, kind of because of what happened with the 14 of Gavin Fitzgerald. I mean, really, the stack up started. Well, the stack up was happening. The stack up is why Gavin got turned. So let's take a look at it from above, and you get to see the 7 stacks up, the whole inside line stacks up. Oh, the 6, yeah.
started just about with Jim Duda, and then just kind of a chain reaction. See it all the time on iRacing.
Yeah, well, it's go time, and really, I can't even really lay blame on anybody. That was just a series of unfortunate events coming down late in the race. I don't think anybody necessarily did anything wrong in that situation.
I agree. I think what we are going to start to see now, though, is we are kind of going to get to know who the real players are in this race. You can kind of tell already who is willing to make these moves at the front, but I'd say definitely watch out for Terrell Baker and Hunter Matsalinas. They definitely look more willing to make a lot of those aggressive moves. I would say to look out for the one of Jared Darling. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll be able to get back to the front in time. In fact, I don't even see him out on track right now. He is still on the lead lap, but is coming back to pit road for even more damage repairs, so I imagine he is out of contention, one of the more dominant trucks of the day.
Internet provider.
So, TCB leads Chris Heller, Hunter Matalinas, Nathan Nixon, and Jim Duda. Jackson Sims in 6th, Nick Hansen in 7th, Spencer Owens in 8th, Sam Hoff in 9th, James Shiflett is going to line up 10th. And we're going to have a restart with, if I'm doing my math right, about 6 laps to go. And it's go time. And, I've said it every restart the last 2 times, but if there's ever a time to be aggressive, it's going to be now, Jonathan.
Oh, for sure. I think at this point you can't hang. I mean, you can hang back if you're already at the back, but if you're in the front, I actually think you're in a more dangerous position if you're not making moves. I think at this point, if you see a gap, you got to take it. As long as it's not too small, you got to go for it. I think it's definitely going to reward drivers that are willing to be a little bit more aggressive, which is why I would definitely look for Baker to maybe steal this win. But it's also going to reward drivers that are being precise, guys that you haven't seen stepping out of line a lot in this race. That's why I'm a little wary of maybe a Jim Duda. I've seen him kind of get a little loose, get a little wiggly in the pack. I think drivers like that are going to be hard to work with, and it's going to be hard to make moves if you're them. So definitely I would look out for that balance of aggression but car control.
You guys have put on a hell of a show tonight.
Believe we'll be getting the one to go at this time by as Baker continues to save fuel as much as possible. I honestly don't really understand why, but that probably doesn't matter. Lights are out on the pace track, so we will be going back green this time by. We'll have 7 laps to go. I imagine we'll get a couple more cautions between now and the end of this race, but you never know.
Yeah, you wonder. I guess the strategy at this point is to just be to make sure the 8 truck is good. If for some reason we burn up all 3 green-white checkers. It's been a while since it's happened. I think just off the top of my head, only one time in GLR history have we had to end a race under caution. So hopefully it does not come to that here tonight. We always want to see a good, clean green finish. But that's also something that's kind of hard to achieve at any super speedway, let alone here at Daytona.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll see how it plays out. I could see this going a couple of different ways, but I imagine it's probably going to come down to at least one green-white checkered. Looking at your top 10, Terrell Baker leads Chris Heller, Hunter Matalinas, Nathan Nixon, Jim Duda, Jackson Sims, Nick Hansen, Spencer Owens, Sam Hoff, and James Shiflett, your top 10. One of the things I'm noticing, a lot of the guys we talked about earlier in this race, pretty much to death, they're not up here anymore.
Anybody need a black flag clear?
Jump.
Another
big mix of iRatings as well. Not that that's the best indicator of driver skill, but it's definitely interesting to see how Super Speedway Racing kind of promotes different levels of drivers to kind of get to the front. And I don't mean that in terms of skill, but you can kind of correlate iRating to how much someone does official races. So you can kind of see an interesting mix of both outright speed, but also frequency of racing up here in the top 10.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and another thing to note as we get ready to take the green flag, there are still 37 trucks on track. Not all of them are capable of winning, but we still got plenty of trucks out there in case something were to happen.
Pace truck is in. Baker in the restart zone. 7 laps to go. Green flag is back out. Bad restart for the outside line. Bit of a stack up there. I don't see anyone jumping out of line just yet. One truck in the back looked for it, thought better. It's Baker and Matalinas out front.
I have to imagine the 7 truck is going to jump up high eventually. Look at the 11 of Chris Heller on the high side. He's going to have a little bit of a run from the 33 of Nathan Nixon down the back straightaway.
I think that's the place to be.
Yeah, if there's anywhere I want to be, I guess it's the lead truck on the outside.
See how aggressive the blocking gets. Going into turn number 3, we'll have 6 laps to go this time by. Heller on the high side. Baker, your leader. Here they come out of turn number 4. Baker moves up to block. Can't do it. He's going to get stuck in the middle. He's got one truck coming to help, but that whole line is gone. Chris Heller to the race lead.
Yeah, bad move by Baker. I think he wanted to move up, and I say that, and now Baker's going to be the second truck.
Four wide.
He ended up okay. Oh, one truck in the back behind. McConville into the wall. They all save it. Sorry, that was not McConville. That was Cody McCorkle. I made the same mistake you did earlier in the race. That'll stack up the field. You give a little bit more breathing room to these guys in the front. No caution, though. We stay green, coming around to 5 to go.
Yeah, I heard somebody screaming 4 wide, and I'm amazed they made it through. Chris Heller leading the outside.
Now.
Juan Madalenas leading the inside as we come to 5 laps to go at the line.
Madalenas has the lead. It'll be Heller on the high side trying to get a run going with Terrell Baker pushing behind. Jim Duda on the bottom in line as well. And I believe that's the 23 of Owens on the high side through 1 and 2. Double file, gridlock through the front. Bit of a bad push there out of the 7. Gets the 11 a little bit loose, but Heller hangs on to the front. Here comes Baker with a head of steam down the back.
Yeah, I thought the 8 was flushed, and he ended up being the lead car on the outside line there for a second. He was going to try to make a move back to
Gotta push me if you want to get anywhere.
4 laps to go at the line.
All right, never mind.
Madalenas is going to be absolutely glued to that rear bumper of the 11. And that may make it a lot harder for the high line to get any momentum going. As we almost see the 7 turn to 8 coming off the 4.
Everyone's getting a little bit loose now. We get 4 laps to go. Terrell Baker back out front. He's got Owens pushing behind with Nixon behind him. Side by side for the lead still. No one jumping out to make a third line. It surprises me a little bit that no one's doing that. Now the 7 of Madalenas pushing the 11. Heller moves up to block, moves back down, gets out of the way of Baker. That's surprising. But in doing so, he kind of stacked up the outside line. Now there's no run. Meanwhile, here comes the third lane. The 32 of Hansen going to be leading it with McConville pushing him.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a bad move by the 11, but it ended up working out in his favor. He got the 8 truck to check up.
This is fun, Jared. We're having fun.
Not something you necessarily see the 8 truck willing to do, but I think if he did check up,
absolute blast.
Because now we're going to see Madalenas move to the high side
here we
to
go.
get in front of Tyrell Baker. Jackson Sims on the apron through the tri-oval. Saves it there. Madalenas is going to try to stay in control of this race. And we're going to see that 8 truck all over his rear bumper as he's going to get to the high side. And now we do have a little bit of a third line forming through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, that third line is coming with Nathan Nixon on the high side. It's got a huge head of steam down the back. Here comes the third line. Oh, but it died out just before it gets to turn 3. Shiflett in the middle now. That's going to send the third line to the back. Terrell Baker now to the bottom. He's got Madalenas behind with Spencer Owens now leading the outside line. Here they come off turn 4. Baker decides not to throw the block. Owens with a run on the high side is going to come and pick up 2 to go. Oh, a bit loose out of the 23. So is the 53 of Duda in the back. I think it's about to get messy. Baker gets shuffled out of the bottom. He blocks the middle. Everyone's moving around to the back now. There's a ton of movement in the pack. Madalenas now to the bottom. He's going to have a push from Heller. But Baker gets the run out of turn 2 with Owens pushing. Now Baker moves to cover off the bottom.
If we can make it to the line, we'll get the white flag this time by. And then it'll be a race to the finish. But these guys are all over the place. The 49 of Shane Neiswanger and the 23 of Spencer Owens are going to be the trucks to watch because those are teammates as we see TCB makes a move the high side coming off turn 4 as they're looking for the white flag.
White flag flying in the wind. One more time around Daytona. They hit for second. Baker has the lead with Owens in second. Owens has a run on the high side. Crash in the back. The 45's in the wall. They're wrecking. So is the 28. Number of trucks go around to the back, but that does not matter to the race out front. Madalenas gets sideways. That's going to kill the inside line. Baker tries to hang on. They hit again. Hard to the wall goes Nathan Nixon. They're crashing behind. It'll leave 4 trucks out front with Spencer Owens pushed by Shane Neiswanger. down to turn number 3. Niswonger gonna try to get to the outside of Owens. Owens throws the block. He stays in the middle. Can Madalinas do anything from third? Niswonger gets to the right rear of Owens. He's gonna have a run. He gets turned. There they go. Niswonger into the wall. Baker shoots out of the cannon through the middle. He's gonna take advantage and he's gonna win the race. Terrell Baker to the line, wins the season opener at Daytona. Hard crash the 56 of Matthew Weeks on the wall. Terrell Baker takes advantage of the leaders coming together and scores the victory at Daytona. What a finish.
Yeah, Madalinas looked like he was content to try to push the 49 around the 49's teammate in the 23 Spencer Owens, and they wrecked him. It was going to be the 49 or the 23's win, and they just handed it back to that 8 truck of TCB.
Yeah, those top 3 were in a good spot.
Okay,
you can see the 49 Niswonger just hanging on the right rear of Spencer Owens. He was able to get around him. Madalinas just couldn't line up the push. They all wrecked, and that left Terrell Baker as the only driver with enough momentum to come off 4 for the win. So Terrell Baker deals one at Daytona and burns it down in the infield grass. Nearly flips the truck. That one's going in the wall. But it's iRacing, doesn't really matter. He doesn't have to pay the repair bills. Good win, Terrell Baker. What a finish at Daytona.
One of the wilder finishes we've ever seen. One of the wilder races we've ever seen here at Daytona. TCB gets it done.
Yeah, I got
a regulation finish, not even overtime.
I was
pretty
really
on brand
just gonna
finish for
push
the
you
type
to
of
the
race
finish.
we had. As we'll start to work on getting you the final results and see if we can get some post-race interviews with some drivers here, Jonathan.
Yeah, I for sure want to talk to a couple of the guys that were, well, I guess we should probably do top 3, but I'm honestly more interested in what happened to Madalinas and who was that? Yeah, the 49 of Niswonger. But it could have been a miscommunication. Either way, it worked out pretty well for your winner, Terrell Baker. So he continues to burn it down here at Daytona after a hard-fought victory with only a little bit of luck involved, but definitely a lot of good opportunity seizing there as he was able to get around Spencer Owens just at the end, and the cavalry behind just didn't have enough momentum to get back to him.
All right, starting with our 3rd place finisher. It's the 27 of William Barbagelata. Will, I got to be honest, I don't think we said your name one single time tonight. And I look up coming off turn number 4, and you cross start-finish line in 3rd.
Elliot, that
so kind of take us through that restart and that last lap.
I mean, yeah, those last lap or two, I mean, that was a total blur.
He maneuvered, I couldn't.
I don't know. On that restart, I was probably, I don't know, around 19th, 20th, and there was just absolutely nowhere to go. Had a little almost wrecked, got some damage. My wheel was actually not straight, but kept it going, was able to get back to the lead pack with about 1 to go, and then that's when all hell broke loose. I don't know how I managed third. I mean, people were wrecking left and right and just kept passing cars, kept it straight, and yeah.
Well, we're seeing it on the replay.
Will, one of the things I noticed throughout the race was a high level of aggression throughout the field. Drivers were taking all the runs they could get, but at the same time, it felt sort of gridlocked. How are you able to manage sort of the difficulty to make moves with aggression?
So, I mean, my plan the whole time was just to hang back. I was hoping we got a green flag pit stop at one point, and that's how I was hoping to make up track position to put myself up front. So I never really ran up there. I'd assume, because it was gridlocked the whole time, I mean, people were pushing so hard in both lanes, and that's what created the amount of incidents we had. But, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's just what happens when you're racing like that. But I don't know. I didn't really get to experience any of it. I mean, to finish third was pure luck on it. So I'm not really sure. But it was, I mean, it wasn't our best show. But it was fun. The racing was hectic. So I'll give it that.
All right, well, William Barbagelata might be the luckiest driver in Florida tonight. He finishes 3rd at Daytona. Will, do you have anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I mean, I'll thank the admins. Thank you guys for putting this on. This was fun. Our team, we worked together pretty decently. So, and maybe everyone for taking each other on the last lap to get me third.
All right, Will, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
That was
And that was your third place finish. Oh.
No, you're good.
I'll let you handle it. You take it.
William
You got it. You got it.
Our third place finisher. Now to second, Mike McConville. Damn it, Mike. We talked about you at the end of last season every week. I feel like I didn't say your name one single time tonight, and again, you finished second. So before we go through anything else, just kind of take us through those last laps and what happened.
Well, at restrictor plate race, man, I knew it always gets funky, and they held it together longer than I thought, man. But coming at it, turn 3, I start seeing people bounce off each other. And I'm like, all right, no lifting to the checkered flag, and they just like the seas parted in front of me. I was weaving left, weaving right, missing trucks, man, throwing haymakers, and man, I needed about the start finish line needed to be where Talladega's finish line was, and I might have gotten to TCB. We were coming.
Yeah, I think between you and Will, I've never seen one truck pass so many trucks in a single lap. Finish aside, how was the race from your perspective? We thought it might have been a little aggressive, but what was it like there? What was it like down on the track?
When I was up front, it did seem a little aggressive, and when I got that little bit of damage early on, I decided I'll just hang in the back, try to make it the end of the race. And they did funky stuff all race up front, and I was glad. I hope I put on a little bit of a good show for you guys, drifting through the corners, missing like the first 3 or 4 wrecks coming through the grass. I know my teammates were loving it. They're like, Mike, how you keep missing this stuff? I'm like, because I turn left, go through the grass, and use my dirt track skills to get past all this stuff, man. It was a wild night. But what do you expect from Daytona? Season opener, finished P2, good start to the season.
Well, the season starts for real next week. What are you looking to get out of our second race, not at a super speedway?
Well, I hope to implement some of my fuel magic next week and see if I can scam a win from everybody.
Well, you scammed a second place finish out of Daytona, so you're going to be sitting pretty kind of as we head into the grind. Mike, is there anybody you want to thank?
I want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. I absolutely cannot wait to go back and watch this race because it was fun from inside the cockpit. I can only imagine what it was like up in the booth. I want to thank all the admins for putting on this league. I was so excited for season 10. When we finished season 9, I was chomping at the bit to start the next season. I need to shout out the sponsor that came on board for this season, Produce Place in Delhi, little mom and pop deli place. I work there during the day. They trusted me enough to throw me a few bones. So I hope bring home the championship for them this season. Man, second place. Dude, I'm ecstatic.
All right, Mike McConville, thank you so much with your third place finish here at Daytona.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Jonathan Oates, you've got the winner.
All right, TCB, I thought you were going to win that race, but on the last lap, I honestly wasn't so sure. Walk me through what happened on the last lap of that race.
Well, man, that was wild. I had my 2 dark horse teammates on the outside there, and I was just trying to get one of us to win. Obviously, I wanted to win, but Shane and Spencer were on my outside there, and we were just going to try to have it blocked up just so it was all dark horse 1, 2, 3. Then they started banging around. Something happened to Hunter, and then the whole field just imploded behind me, and Hunter didn't stay with me. I was like, well, guess I'm getting 4th or 3rd here. You never know. And then Hunter gave a bad bump to Shane, and then everybody just spun out in front of me. My eyes were like wide open, and my jaw dropped, and I couldn't believe I actually won. About time. I mean, just to lead that many laps, I don't even know how many laps I led, but just to be up front there at the end and lead that many laps and not to win would definitely be devastating. So I'm glad we were able to win.
Yeah, you were definitely one of the more aggressive drivers in the field tonight. Not afraid of taking runs and going into gaps that were just big enough to fit a truck. Talk me through how you were able to balance that aggression all night with maybe a little bit of caution and making sure you keep your truck clean.
Well, I always bring it back to my aggression. I bring it back to driving in New York City, because I'll drive through New York City every now and then, and it's kind of like that. Like, you just got to kind of go with whatever lane is moving, and then if someone's not moving and they leave the middle open, it's like, hey, the middle lane is open, so I'm just gonna go. So that's usually what I look for. I'm giving away my secrets live on stream here, but I don't care. But yeah, and then obviously you got to be cautious of the guy ahead of you. If you're like 8 trucks back, you don't want to push the guy ahead of you. Every now and then you'll just barely hit him. But yeah, that's pretty much how I do that. Just think it's like New York City and just try to find the holes and go.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting way of looking at it. I hadn't really thought about it like that before, but I like it, and clearly it worked out for you as you were able to come away with the win. Is there anyone that you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Team Dark Horse for picking me up. Man, those guys are great. They seem like they seem like a good group of guys. I mean, they all are, but man, they have a lot that goes into this league here. So shout out to them, and shout out to Shane and Spencer. Definitely Spencer. Spencer definitely kept me up there, helped me eventually win the race. So I appreciate that. You guys for broadcasting. I want to shout out my brother real quick. I know he's not watching, but I want to shout him out. And just everybody watching, all the fans of TCB. And about time I finally won. Actually, I want to hold on one second. I want to thank Great Lakes. I don't think I thanked them. I don't know if I did. Sorry. I want to thank them for putting on the league. They do an amazing job. I love this league. I love racing every Tuesday in this league. So shout out to them. And again, glad I finally won. Yeah, it was kind of a Mickey win, but hey, I'll take it. Start off the season strong.
Yeah, man, big congratulations on your victory tonight. You definitely were one of the fastest trucks out there and just got a little bit of a lucky break at the end. Thank you for talking to us.
No problem. See you guys next week.
All right, that was your race winner, Terrell Baker. Jeff, I think that might do it for us tonight. Any final thoughts on the race?
Well, it was certainly a race. I think you can put it about like that. I think the real season starts next week, and you know what? I think I might just be out of words after that finish. I kind of forgot TCB was on Dark Horse, so there was just a wall of Dark Horse on Dark Horse violence on that last lap. But a fun finish for the fans. Yeah, and I think that's about all I got, Jonathan.
Yeah, definitely an exciting race tonight, an exciting finish. It came all the way down to the end, but maybe most importantly, ended in regulation. So these guys stayed on their best behavior all the way until the end of the race. All right, I think that's going to do it for the Great Lakes Truck Series here on Split Second. I have been Jonathan Oates with Jeff Johnson. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, but I believe that's going to do it. We'll see you all later. Thank you, everybody. Good night.